Welcome to the 2019 College Championship, where 354 teams have been whittled down to 8 over just the past 5 months. Now, what we have here are the best of the 10 conferences clashing for the title of college champion. Now, 4 teams take to the rift today, with 1 team new to the college championship, representing the East, the University of Waterloo. Their opponents returning to the tournament, but this time as BTN champions, University of Illinois. Later in the day, 2017 college champions return to the stage, representing the Northern Conference, Maryville University, who take on another team making their debut at the tournament, representing the South. It's NC State. The 2019 College Championship starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the culmination of the Collegiate League of Legends season. Today kicks off with BTN champs Illinois squaring off against the University of Waterloo from the East region. Hi, everyone. I'm Daniel Digon Gonzalez, flanked by Alberto Crumbs Rengifo, the prophet himself, and head coach for Clutch Academy, Connor Artemis Doyle. Coach, how's it going?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here. We have some really talented teams, great players, great coaches, and I'm hoping for some really bloody, fast games.
Yeah, I mean, if the LCS is full-on professional MMA, right here, what we have with Collegiate is bare-knuckle brawl. It's all about fighting. It's all about not holding back, and that makes the best League of Legends, because we just saw with MSI that G2 proved that that's the best style. I want to see these guys come out and prove it as well.
Oh, yeah, expecting a lot of team fights as we go into today's action. Let's begin with a look at what we've got cooking to kick off the end of the collegiate season. First up, the BTN champs University of Illinois look to make short work of the University of Waterloo from the East, followed up by the 2017 collegiate champs Maryville squaring up against the number 2 seed from the South, the NC State Wolfpack. Guys, thoughts on those matchups?
So I'm excited for the second game of the day. We have Maryville against NCSU. Maryville is a team that is stacked with talent. I think Niles comes to mind immediately as one of the best up-and-coming top laners at the tournament and even in amateur as well.
Oh, for sure.
They're also coached by Zoo, who has academy experience. He's been an amateur for a long time. So there's a lot of leadership here and there's a lot of talent, and I'm picking Maryville to go deep in this tournament.
I want to see UCI. They've got former LCS players. You got Bloodwater way back in the day playing support. You've got Youngbin, who's now playing AD carry, last seen on Team Liquid. So with all that veteran status, I'm expecting this team to come out swinging and have a significant advantage over a lot of these teams that don't have LAN experience. If you are coming here for the first time, you got flashing lights, all the noise, all the crowd. That can catch you off guard, where a veteran, I don't think they'll be phased.
Well, we'll get to UCI in just a second. These quarterfinal matches will be best of 3 matches, while the semifinals and finals on Saturday and Sunday will move to a best of 5. Now, for those of you who didn't follow the road to the championship up to this point, shame on you. Here are some spark notes on how the college scene works. 10 conferences compete throughout the year with their own regular season. You can see the conferences there on your screen. The winners from the North, West, East, and BTN Conference auto-qualify for the championship based off of their performance over the last 2 years. Now, in this case, that's Maryville, UCI, Western Ontario, and Illinois. Top performers from the remaining conferences battle in a play-in tournament for the remaining spots. Now, Connor, you have some experience playing in CLOL. Talk to me about what it's like to balance your time as a player and also as a student.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was the AD carry for Columbia College back in 2017.
Right.
And one of the most challenging things about being a collegiate League of Legends player is time management. And it's something we hear these guys talk about all the time. But not only are you balancing this competitive schedule that lasts 5 months, so even longer than an LCS split, but you have a full course load.
Oh, yeah.
And some of these schools are no slouches either. You know, UCI, top academic school, a couple of these Canadian schools as well. So how you manage your time is extremely important, and it all comes down to this. So pressure's really on this weekend, and I'm excited to see who can perform.
Yeah, and Crumbs, you got to play while you were in college as well, just a little bit more of a different journey, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was a success story. He was able to balance it all.
I don't think so.
I balanced my school life with League of Legends by choosing to not do any school life, do all League of Legends. So here we are now. I wouldn't recommend it, but I didn't know better back then, so.
Well, of course, the stakes are so much different now. There's so much more to play for, scholarships, as well as keeping your GPA up. It's all a different game now than the time that you were in, Crumbs, but glad you're able to make it through.
It's crazy. If you can get a scholarship for playing League, I'll do it in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. Now, one of the biggest stories heading into the tournament was Michigan State's upset over Columbia College, one of the best teams in the country, in the play-in group stage, which is why we have a rematch of last year's finals tomorrow in the quarterfinals as Columbia faces off against defending champs UC Irvine. Now, you were chomping at the bit to talk about this team. Go ahead, floor is yours.
Yeah, you know, it's really, really tough that this matchup happens in the quarters because I think in another bracket situation, this could very well be a finals matchup. Both of these teams are stacked with talent top to bottom. You know, Misty Stumpy is a great top laner. Youngbin, fantastic academy player. You know, Nintendo, Evan RL. It's so easy to just list off all these guys. And you know, my heart wants to go with CC, but my brain is telling me UCI. You know, I think that UCI's experience and leadership from Youngbin in the ball lane is going to carry them through.
So I want to give some context to the guys watching. Like, what are the skill ranges that we're looking at, like solo queue level between all the teams here? Like, obviously, a lot of guys are Master, Challenger, Grandmaster, Diamond. Like, it's a pretty nice spectrum, am I right?
Yeah, it's a huge spectrum, but with those two teams specifically, you're talking about players that have easily been in Challenger for most of their career, if not, you know, recently. And then a lot of players that have had experience on the stage, LCS stage as well. So there's a lot there at stake with that matchup. These are the big stories coming into the tournament, so we'll see how it all pans out over the next 4 days. Now, we're sending it over to Mark and Riv for our first quarterfinal, but let's take a first look at the Fighting Illini.
My summoner's name is Tip Project 1. I'm a jungler for University of Illinois.
My summoner name is The Bosch. I play AD carry.
My summoner name is Timmy Tommy, and I play support.
My summoner name is Topopotamus, and I play top lane.
My summoner name is Zeno, and I am the mid laner for University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Last time, we were actually the 8th seed, and we were expected to go immediately since we were playing against the defending champions.
Last year, we had a great upset. It was insane comeback. People thought we were the underdogs, and then it turned out we were 8th seed, came in and upset the #1 seed Maryville, so it was unbelievable.
Last year, everyone kind of looked out on us, think that it's just a fluke, right? Like, just take out the first place, and then they just kind of tilt.
I want to play Maryville again. I want to prove that it wasn't a fluke last time that we beat them. So, looking forward to playing them.
Hello and welcome to our first quarterfinal. It's a beautiful day here in Los Angeles. I'm Irvington Bisman III and joined by my study buddy for all things college league. It is Mark Zimmerman. Did you do your work on the project?
I was one of the guys who just showed up and hoped to get an A. One of those horrible classmates.
There's always a carry. I got you. Illinois enters the college championship after conquering their purveying curse, Maryland, in the BTN final.
Yeah, they always came up second. That was kind of their story the entire time, was that they were always behind Maryland. But they finally won the title themselves in the BTN. Now they're coming on to the entire collegiate stage to try and grab that one as well. Topopotamus, Project 1, Zeno, all returned. Some of those guys that were part of that monstrous upset that they talked about last year. They are fielding a new bot duo, though. And so, the team, despite having these new players, are still mostly focused around Zeno. He was pretty much the main carry threat for this team, and that's going to continue forward probably throughout this tournament.
Big strength, a lot of promise in that mid lane. We'll have to keep an eye on it. We'll see how Zeno fares versus their opponents today, Waterloo from the East.
I'm Platoon. I play ADC for the University of Waterloo.
My summoner name is Lio. I play jungle.
My summoner name is Sherb. I am the support.
My summoner name is Shauner. I play top.
My summoner name is Captain Shrimps. I play mid for University of Waterloo.
So it's really interesting. You know, both of us have like that 1v9 style mid laner.
So it's going to be really dependent on how much the jungle and bot influence the mid lane, and whoever can do that better will win the game, I think.
I think Waterloo's kind of, not many people know too much about us on the collegiate scene because we don't really take activity on the Discord or anything like that. We want to prove that as the Dark Horse, we're a really powerful team and take it pretty far.
I think we're slept on a lot coming into this tournament. We've been trying to qualify a few times, but I think this year we have the strongest team we've ever had. So I think, I don't want to say we're an underdog, but I think we can do a lot of damage in the tournament for sure.
Maybe an underdog, possibly not an underdog. They definitely feel like they're coming in with strength. And Mark, you mentioned a carry in the mid lane in Zeno. And do I have good news for you? Because we also have a carry on the other team in Captain Shrimps, plays that Zed the Akali. Also could see some Pantheon coming out. So this could be really, really explosive in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, the teams themselves feel like this match will probably be decided by which mid decides to go 1v9 and kind of hard carry their teams. Yeah. Shauner, Platoon, and Sherb have all been playing together for a little while. And it is Captain Shrimp as that new blood in the mid lane who has really revitalized that team and helped boost them onto their first time appearing in these kind of final tournament formats. So good premiere for Waterloo, and it's going to come down to a lot on that mid lane Captain Shrimp. The other new blood, of course, being Lio in the bot lane. So it is going to be jungle. So like they were saying, the mid-jungle synergy of this new duo is what's going to decide a lot.
Yeah, I actually think so as well, seeing what they kind of pressure they can relieve from the mid lane or as well leave their lanes and add pressure to that mid lane. We have a lot of playmaking supports coming into this. Mid laners that want to carry the game. I hope everybody gets what they want in Champion Select, and we'll see what those priorities are right now.
And that's the interesting thing. Patch 9.10 in the center of your screen. It is no longer what I think a lot of esports fans have been watching for a long period of time. MSI was all the way back on 9.8. So tons of changes to a lot of popular champions, most notably with this patch, Yuumi coming in. We've heard she's probably very strong after all those hot fixes, so we'll have to see. Actually hitting the ban table right as I say that, unfortunately.
Thank the Lord. Man,
You say thank the Lord. I want to see it at least once so people can see.
That.
At least so people can see why it's getting banned.
That's true. That's true. It becomes a very difficult lane, and I think it still is a very high skill cap to be seen from that champion. Ivern being hovered here as we still have the giant Nautilus on the Rift to be selected, and that's going to be Waterloo's first pick.
Yeah, no surprise. It was seeing some play previously, what didn't really receive any changes on the recent patches, and it's a very strong champion, I think, in what will be a very fight-centric meta in this tournament where, you kind of heard Crumbs talking about how it's some bare-knuckle boxing type stuff. So Nautilus is great for that, can scrap very early, good tankiness, engage, and damage.
I like the safety in Illinois bot lane. Lovers duo and Rakan and Zaya picked up for Bosch and Timmy Tommy to make things happen. They said a lot of what happens in those side lanes can affect the mid lane, so safety there and a pick really plays to that.
Definitely the case. Rakan did receive a couple changes. If you didn't see, he has his ult have a small lockout window, so you cannot alt flash instantly or alt W instantly. It has a half-second lockout window now, but he did receive some compensation buffs for that nerf, where his W is now a little faster, some higher base HP and things like that.
Yeah, a little more magic resistance gain. Feels good, especially if you're going up against... Oh, okay, it's not locked in. I was like, Nami and Rakan? Rumble Lucian locked in on the other side. Really good fight phase here that Waterloo's bringing to the table if they can get out of lanes quick and use that Rumble's power. And what is on the other side for Illinois' last pick?
I got to imagine that Rumble is a flex pick. It'd be hard to imagine wanting to just telegraph a Rumble top quite like that. Yeah. So I'm going to assume that they play that mid as well. Who knows? And it is the kind of champion that, with Nautilus as well, can flex between support and mid. Now you have a flex between top and mid. It was a very flex-heavy meta at MSI. We see the Aurelia, the Ryze, Akali, Sylas all still hitting the ban table. So it does still appear to be a very flex-heavy meta.
Sherb likes to play the aggressive playmaking supports. Nautilus can do that, so very likely maybe his, as we were saying. Mid's getting hit a little bit on our second phase of bans. Illinois now with their chance, 7 seconds left for their last ban, and it's going to be Volibear, as we did hear that coming out as a play for Waterloo.
Not going to be the case. Would have been interested to see if they actually play the Volibear.
Yeah.
Could also be a little bit of a throwaway ban. Poppy you know, was one of the most played for Illinois' top laner, Topopotamus. He grabbed that a couple of times. Surprised to see it banned, because I would have thought you would be happy to take a Rumble into the Poppy, but guess that's not the case, and they're going to have to force Topopotamus onto something else. He is one of the returning members from that upset that Illinois had, and it looks like he's probably getting a Vladimir.
Be able to stay safe in the top lane, add a little bit of pressure as well. And nobody really has to head top. They can still help that mid lane, so a self-sufficient top for Topopotamus. I'm still waiting on Zeno. He gets to see the rest of what Waterloo has and get that last counter pick on red side. Kennen locked in for Platoon, almost. Still on that hover.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Like we said, there's a lot of flex picks.
Right,
Does
he is
feel
locked.
like
Okay.
Kennen is going top.
Yeah.
We will have Nocturne in the jungle, which means Rumble in the mid lane, most likely. I assume it's not a support Rumble, so we'll have to see what Zeno has prepared for mid Rumble. Have not seen it too often, and I guess it's a FLICKR.
I like it. So definitely looking to counteract what Shrimps is going to be bringing to the table. Shrimps as well says he likes to be on the Akalis, the aggressive champions, but still Rumble is a champion. You can carry the game just in a different aspect. You're not going to be zeroing people out. You control the fight, and you pretty much direct where everybody goes with your abilities.
Especially in the early game. I mean, Rumble, for the most part, is considered an early and mid-game power spiking champion.
Yep.
Tend to get priority in lanes and then try and take fights in the jungle where you can drop that equalizer on a whole pathway so people have to flash over walls or put themselves in tricky situations to get out. But I wonder about the FLICKR pick into it, because you do have the range advantage. You should never need to get into Flame Spitter range, but post 6, it feels like you can just drop that equalizer on top of you and there's no mobility for FLICKR to get off of it.
It's true. The fight phase I'm looking at looks great, though. You're stopping a Kennen, the Nocturne coming in. When you hear his ult, you can box around yourself in the team. It's all easier said than done. You're going to have a bunch of players flying at you here, and what a tanky team and fight team that Waterloo is bringing to the table with that composition. They feel confident. We heard them talking that not a lot of people know who we are. Yeah, we don't communicate too much, but it's because we're getting ready to bring a lot to the table, and this is one of the best teams we've been able to do that with.
Yeah, I mean, Illinois, the lowest rated player on their team from solo queue at least is Master, which is still very high and one of the highest rated teams in the tournament. Waterloo sporting some players below that. So it does feel like, from an individual perspective, the fact that they have made it to this tournament before, that they had a huge upset last year, does paint Illinois a bit as a favorite. And I'm interested to see if they can live up to that.
Able to grab the BTN championship this time around, so feeling very good coming in here to the quarters. We'll see what they can do against Waterloo. In game 1, we are on to the Rift. We see what compositions are going up against each other, and we'll see how this early game plays out. Looking at Lio and Project One, what do you expect to see from these two junglers?
I assume both of them might want to go down to the bot lane early on. I think top lane, Kennen has a little bit more setup, but you know, the Nocturne mostly wants to farm till 6. Mid lane is probably going to want 6. Feels like a relatively inactive early game, all things considered, for Waterloo. But they have the stronger laners, which makes it hard for the Rek'Sai to make plays. So you could see, I think, actually a relatively slow early game for both junglers. But who knows, because it's also collegiate and they're going to get bloody.
Heck yeah, that's what I want to see. It's kind of like the NCAA tournaments. You always get a little more power, a little more hype. They want to get that limelight on them, and the plays to be made are to come. Let's see what they do in the jungle now. Waterloo looking to scout out whatever Illinois could be doing here in the early game. At least get some vision down, as well as Illinois doing that on the bottom side of the map. Quiet, though, without any kills to start things off. We'll see how these lanes play out.
Yep, good job getting a ward early on. Much more important to track the Rek'Sai early than the Nocturne. Rek'Sai has a lot more innovative gate paths you can potentially take. And the team comps as a whole, both very similar. AP solo laners that are mostly interested in team fighting. And then you have AD junglers and aggressive bot lanes with engaged support. So this does feel pretty well matched in terms of what the team comps are going to do. And it's about who gets a better start in the game.
We'll definitely keep an eye on this lane. Xeno stacks as well will be something we'll be telling you throughout the cast. See how big Vhagar is getting. It looks like junglers are hovering just about the same pace as they'll make their way to the other side of the jungle here in a second. Project One on his Raptors. Looks like level 2 could be in favor of Illinois here as they're getting pushed in just a little bit. Sherb using the relics to get them in a nice spot.
A little hard to contest Nautilus early on. Can push the wave very well. Lucian as well being a very strong champion, so no surprise to see that on the back foot. Lio just going for his first clear.
Ooh, early wards. So now they're going to have vision top sides. No Project 1 started there. And when he gets down to the bottom. So really good priority on giving Lio an idea where to go, how to track him, and where to possibly gank first.
And that's what you want to see. Understanding that vision is still super duper important. And it's something that I think people would be surprised to see that the collegiate scene often does have pretty good focus on macro play when you get to the top end, like in this tournament. It's definitely the case where some of the earlier on portions of the season, you're playing some teams that are not quite as strong. But when you have a group of 5 people who are all challenger-ish level, all of them have been playing together for months on end. A lot of them have coaching staffs to back them up. Some of these organizations or schools even have scholarship programs. It suddenly becomes pretty serious, and you're going to be taking the right steps to win the game.
It's interesting to see the teams come together as well. A lot of the players of Illinois are just joining that team. Project 1 did have a split in the TPL, the Thailand League, during 2017 summer, but just getting into kind of an organization, being able to hone solo queue skills into team skills is really awesome to see for these players as well.
It's one of the most important things you can do, learn how to play together as a team.
Yep.
And early on, I think mid lane is the most interesting thing to me. I want to see exactly how this FLICKR handles Rumble, who should be able to get pressure early on, especially at 6 is when I think this will start getting pretty difficult. Until then, you know, with that Flame Spitter, it feels like Rumble pushing the wave in, and hopefully FLICKR can just sit under turret and farm it out.
If not an all-in, definitely a nuisance. He just uses his gate to escape every time the all-in comes from Shrimps. It could be painful. There's still Project 1 on the bot side. He was able to clear out that ward. As you can see, his zombie standing tall. Timmy Tommy getting a little bit of brush control here. Nice job by them. Not able to clear out the ward, though, but still pushing the wave back, and respect from Platoon and Sherb here that they don't get ganked out. Still pretty quiet all across the map with not too many leads. Topopotamus looks like he's getting pushed in, so he'll have a bit of a wave to clear here, but seems to be falling behind a little bit in CS.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where most of these guys are used to playing in their college dorm rooms, or if they have a room that they play in, if they have an on-site campus club hall or something like that, maybe they can play there. Some of them even have training facilities. But I don't think anyone's used to playing on the LCS stage where you have the lights, the crowd.
You can put pants on.
You got so much more to do to get ready for this game.
It is what it is. Out of that comfort of your home gaming stead. So good clear up by Lio here. Start that vision score up nice and quick. A sweeper from Project 1 as he makes sure that their jungle is actually cleared very early. So getting a call maybe from Bosch and Timmy Tommy that there was an invade there by Platoon and Sherb to get that quick vision, and here from Project 1 as well.
Definitely wants to be the aggressor in this jungle matchup, so it makes sense that you're more focused on vision denial to set up ganks than vision itself to ward them off.
Might slow down Lio's ganks when he does hit 6, though. Not knowing where Project 1 is could slow him down. Good damage back and forth here as Bosch and Timmy Tommy come out on top of that. So 35 to 48 down in CS, but winning in the trades, it gives them the advantage that may lead to a kill.
Yeah, would have been really tempting to go all in there after the root landed. The W buff that came in to kind of compensate for the ult nerf for Rakan actually does make his engage pre-6 a little bit stronger. The fact that your W goes there faster, but definitely the case where if you all in against Nautilus, it can very quickly turn south. So I can understand respecting that. You can already see that they actually had to just trade heal and ignite off screen.
Nice shot. A little bit of a caster wave there. Platoon decides not to go for all of the hits, and Sherb was not in range. But still, good aggression here, showing they're not ready to back off, even though they may be a little bit lower in HP.
Yeah, I mean, the Xayah Rakan lane, with the fact they have the heal through Rakan's Q, they're going to try and focus shorter trades. And there's that ult. First one coming in for wave clear, looks like. Disappointed.
Yep. There's a whole lot of, sweet gank, and there's a whole lot of disengage between these two mid laners. They can just kind of stop what's going on if they want. Oh, bot lane love going in. A kill coming. That's the ignite going down onto Platoon as they actually tried to go hard. So seeing that aggression from Platoon, they reinitiated that. Sherb had to flash there as well at the end. And no heal used by Platoon, so whatever happened quick.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we can grab a replay of that. We were talking about how there were some summoner disadvantages, the fact that already Sherb had used his ignite and forced out the Bosch's heal, but there, just steps a little bit too far forward. Whoa. And there's that faster W coming in to knock up and kill him. not sure he would have lived even through that heal, so maybe it was worth saving it.
A whole lot of cluster there between the minions and then the feathers coming out from Bosch. The stun up and the follow stun from Timmy Tommy's W. A great job to get first blood, and now they can get a little bit of that pressure down towards the bot side. Maybe they pull Lyo at his 6, start relieving that pressure on, not relieving that pressure, but allow Xeno to have a little bit more. They said it'd be a lot about the mid lane still, even if we see action on the side lanes.
Yeah, they were talking about whose jungler can influence it as well as the bot lane. The fact that they got that kill early on and they know that the mid lane ultimate was forced out means they feel like they're strong enough to force this Infernal.
Missed the hook just wide, but you're gonna get the ultimate down from Nocturne. One's low, he dies immediately. Lyo having no idea what happened on that one. The teleport down from top of Potamus looks good for the Vladimir. Now low for sure, and he may go down another 1-for-1 as the teams trade. And the Dragon is just gonna be real angry during this one. Delivering DPS left and right and is not helping Waterloo.
The ult came back.
Equalizer comes back. Can Captain Shrimps get his damage through? He cannot. Timmy Tommy following now with Bosch, and it looks like they'll be able to clean up a little bit more on the fight. Overall now 4-2 on the kill score, and a little bit more there coming in for Illinois.
I like the decision to try and force this. Lucky that that hook was a little wide, but then the Nocturne gets overzealous and tries to hard force that fight. You have to be careful ulting into the Vygar, who can instantly blow you up. And then top of Potamus, nice flank, but just did not have quite enough to stand yet. A little early game still for Vladimir to be fighting, so he gets popped pretty quickly. But now they're in full retreat mode, trying to get away. Tries to find the re-engage. They get one more kill. The equalizer just come up, but there's no CC there to lock them in place, so they're all able to get off the equalizer, and a nice 3-for-1 on the side of Illinois.
Let's see where they can push the advantage. That Infernal is still up. Not being grabbed on that, as it was quite part of the fight last time, and I'm sure we'll see the teams go back. I can see why Waterloo wants to take a fight like that. You have the Rumble hitting 6 with an item. Not the boots are haunting guys yet. Another fight towards top lane. Project One now looking like he's in a good spot, and he will be taken down. Lyo picks that one up after going down very fast in that first fight. Gets himself back on the board.
Yeah, University of Waterloo trying to pick the pace up a little bit here, knowing that they have probably a little bit more early game focus of a team comp. Good job picking Project One in the river. And like you're saying, yeah, also the Drake fight. You know that you want to use these tools early on. The Lucian's going to get outscaled. You got to imagine the Rumble's going to get outscaled by an infinitely scaling champion like Vygar.
Seems like it's going to be fun. Pull your hair out after 40 minutes as he just zeroes out Platoon, kills Shauner before he comes in. It is going to be tough if this game goes too late. We'll see if Waterloo knows they're on that clock. Already starting to put a few of those fights into action to see if they can get an advantage here, and still up in gold after the back and forth though, having a good laning phase on all sides. 83-60 in the top lane, so we could see Shauner coming up big. Proto Belt finished to still kind of garage sale, as Flowers would say. Items on top of Potamus. Popped up again on Platoon. His summoners are down, so they're going to try to get the fight back onto the other AD carry. Not looking good for Bosch as he goes down. Lyle coming up big, and Sherb's going to help finish that one off onto Timmy Tommy.
Great job by University of Waterloo using the semi-global ultimate of the Nocturne to collapse into that fight.
It seems like he just used it, too.
I mean, excellent job. We'll have to see if he has any runes that set those up to have more ultimates, but you know, the side of Illinois thinks that they got a winning fight, and in a lot of ways they do, but there's a lot of pink wards in the river and in the jungle, so they have no idea how close that Nocturne is, and then they have to go into full retreat mode. Not able to get out of there as they're able to focus down both members, and they actually grab the Infernal Drake on the tail end of this fight, so huge swing in Waterloo's favor.
Captain Shrimps was rotating a bit there in lane, did cost him some CS, so a sway for the kills, 101-84 there. And a pickup by Project One on the Rift Herald. Very nicely done. He goes down, but still making what could be a big impact in the game.
Yeah, we checked Nocturne is running Presence of Mind and Cosmic Insight, so he will have very quick ultimates. You already see more than halfway off cooldown and ticking. So he, whenever he pulls off a successful gank like that, will be ready to go just a couple minutes later.
And it's a game-changing thing. Timmy Tommy now has to realize a few deep rewards have to be put down. Fights that they take have to be reconsidered. It's kind of like figuring there's that Requiem on the board. Can Karthus hit R? Well, now it's can Nocturne hit R, and will he be here? Getting a good clear out as Lyo and Captain Shrimps make their way towards the top side here. Slicing Maelstrom down. Should be a pool for Topopotamus still.
Uh-oh.
It looks like they'll go back and forth. Both should be all right, but Topopotamus not having fun in this lane at all.
No, and this is where the entire team is starting to get involved. They're roaming up top. Good job by Topopotamus to recognize that that was probably going to happen. There was no one in the mid lane. and had to back off. But now, turret plating's still up. They can convert this into a fair amount of gold.
I like these shrimp from. He is leaving mid lane quite a bit, but it seems like the team's getting more for it, definitely helping out. He's saying, if I can't get a ton of stuff in my lane, let's get the other lanes built up. And it seems like Xeno and Project One could get big damage here. A lot of plates coming out of the Rift Herald. They're going to start picking up some gold. Already 1 plate on the bot lane. Looks like we'll get 5 here in the mid as Timmy Tommy's making a roam up.
Yeah, you got to imagine that that was probably not worth it on the side of Waterloo. I like the idea of moving around the map, but once the kill isn't there for top Hippopotamus, you can just back off and let the Kennen grab what he wants, and you can potentially go back mid, drop your Rumble ult to clear it out so that they can't trade back, and you just get an advantage. The fact that they spent so long out of laning phase means that University of Illinois was able to find where you had no members and also grab turret plates.
I would have loved to see one more shot from that Rift Herald down to the second tier turret. Fox goes down, you're either in or you're out, and he flashes, so he still has movement. Platoon's alive. How is he staying alive? 4v1, and Project One says, that's enough. Enough playing with our food, I'm going in. Sherb's there, doesn't look like they're gonna play back. They left so many breadcrumb wards through the jungle. They can kind of toy around here a little bit, and Illinois feels good about backing at this point. Taking plates off, looks like they got 6 altogether to the 5 so far of Waterloo.
Yeah, but all things considered, that was not a very clean dive on the side of Illinois, so
No.
now all those members have to go back to base, which means Waterloo has a lot of time to get some push in these lanes. Looks like Rumble will be able to grab his first turret plate. There it drops, and in the bot lane, they're also going to be getting a very nice push off. So there's a very interesting push and pull going on right now as teams trade tempo in different lanes where no one was mid lane, so then they tried to go bot lane, but that took too long. So now mid lane gets the push advantage back, and actually the bot lane turret is the first one to drop just as the turret plates go away. So Illinois, despite pulling that dive off, you would say probably got punished for that play.
Yeah. See if they can recoup. They have good vision to see where Waterloo is going to be coming from, and that's been really, really big for them. Keeping that score up on both sides. Project One clearing out very early so they can't track him in the jungle. They've already been able to find him twice, so both teams are doing a really good job at kind of figuring out what the other is doing and having to change the gameplay to make it work out the next time. 5-5 now, 26,000 to just about 24 here as Waterloo had such a good laning phase. Can they transition now?
They really need to keep this pace up. They did a good job. You know, the first 5 minutes were a little slow. Like we said, probably waiting for 6. And ever since then, it's been off to the races. Nocturne has done a good job farming up. It's just a question of where he's going to find this next play. And what's nice is with some of these turrets dropping in their favor, the enemy has long lanes that they have to worry about. So we'll see if they can convert one of these into kills.
Oh boy. I don't think he wants to see one more here. He will get vision there. Project One backs out. Top lane was going to get a little hot and heavy there for a second as everybody was making their way there. Bot lane pushed by top Hippopotamus. His teleport's up if anything happens on the top side of the map, along with Shauner, but he's meeting with Captain Shrimp, so they could really get a good mismatch here if they want to activate something on the side of Illinois. Top Hippopotamus is going to back, and it doesn't look like University of Waterloo is biting on anything to get a fight from just yet.
Yeah, I mean, Illinois definitely kind of in containment mode right now. Want to make sure that they don't get engaged on as soon as they push that wave into the top side. You saw their bot lane, their duo lane back off and say, all right, we're going to wait for this wave to push back to us as Lyo was hoping to find an extended opponent.
A little bit forward for Shauner. Remember, this is the best of 3, so we are seeing everybody kind of measure each other here, figure out what play styles everyone is bringing to the table. Right now, Project One keeping himself quite quiet in the jungle. He's 1-2-2, but we've really seen him only going for the camps just now. Nocturne and Paranoia gonna go down, and it looks like they may have mid lane. Just about saved. Zanius goes down. We do have that 10-minute mark, so stopwatches are there to be used. And it is gonna be Xeno keeping himself alive. Flashes there. Timmy Tommy goes in. I don't think he wanted to go in. And Timmy Tommy goes down. That was so unnecessary.
Who's baiting who? For a second, it looked like the Vigor was going to drop, and then they find the Ignite trying to kill Lyo, but not able to do it. Had that stopwatch to wait out the Ignite, and then Timmy Tommy drops as a result. Really close play. Not sure what anyone can grab off of it. Not that many objectives up right now.
Yeah, waves are pretty even on each lane. We'll see how it kind of all works together. One out, so the hook went in, and that left him up to go around the wall.
That's actually a pretty funny interaction where the Nautilus would normally hook into an auto to get the root off, but because the hook pulls him forward as well, he stuns himself on Vygar's cage, which makes it not nearly as clean of a play. Still works out in their favor because they baited Rakan into going in, but otherwise that would have just been a nice outplay a little bit by Xeno there. And have not seen competitive Vygar in a while, so interested to check in on his build, going for the Super Soaker, and he has the Glacial Augment rune choice as well.
Hextech GLP.
So, interesting build. We'll have to see where he goes from here. I'm going to imagine he's going to want his Zonias. There's a lot of engage on the enemy team. Let's see if he grabs that next or if he wants to go something else. Already went the Merc Treads because, like we were saying, double AP solo laners with a lot of engage. So, does not want
to went Merc Treads.
Yeah, no one wants to get locked up by the enemy team's solo laners.
Locked up and knocked down real quick. Xeno stacking up quite a bit of AP. Check on my screen.
Yeah, I saw it was at 87 earlier. Got to imagine it's a fair amount higher
152
now.
extra.
It's a lot of AP.
Feels good.
As a death cap. Front of passive. Few passive, I should say.
30 CS down from bot lane. It's kind of breaking now, so it's not going to matter too much. Sanguine Pool comes out. Blast Cone to safety as the Dustbringer just misses. Timmy Tommy locked up by Event Horizon as the Equalizer comes out. Split from the team. Slicing Maelstrom comes in from Shauner. And Illinois not looking good in the first initiation of this one, but it's very low health bars here for Waterloo as they get stuck between two turrets. Illinois is definitely going to start biting back on that mistake. You see Rumble falling down from the sky, just burning up. As that was Captain Shrimps on your screen, and now Leo and Sherb running for the hills. Project One should be able to get a dip and duck in here. Is not able to grab anybody as the Terror comes out. Lio's off of that fight, and it will be good man Sherb pulling off so his jungler can make it out alive. Great fight by Illinois.
Yeah, Waterloo got way too over-ambitious there, thinking that they could take that. Captain Shrimps, ultimate on the Rumble. Equalizer was not comboed with any sort of CC, so even though they start this fight out, they chunk top of bottom low, they think, all right, well, even though we don't kill this guy right away, he's able to get out, he's at least forced to blow a lot of cooldown so we can take this fight on the other part of the map down here. But if you watch the Rumble Equalizer come in, it gets a lot of nice damage off. People get off of it very quickly, and then Shauner is a little late, not able to lock people up on top of the Equalizer. And like you said, between two turrets now, both people getting pelted relentlessly.
So many flashes.
Drops down, and now they're in full retreat mode.
This is what we were hoping for. These bloody fights.
I feel like there's a joke somewhere if I knew Lord of the Rings a little bit better. Oh, hold on, we missed a kill. Lio got caught off in the enemy team's jungle somehow.
There's a lot of them. It looks like he might got caught out by Xeno here. He has his Event Horizon back up once again. Man, the cooldowns for Veigar as well towards late game get absolutely disgusting. If you're hitting your spells, you're getting even more, and you're spitting out dark matters like every 3 or 4 seconds. Let's see what happens here. So he comes,
Space check.
Lovers duo. Boom! We're giving out free hugs today. Lyle gets one.
Oh, hold on. Back from another replay.
Whoa!
Welcome to college.
Shauner and Platoon on a solo, I'm going to say solo mission because they split up, but they were kind of giving each other a false sense of security. Finding the AD carry all by himself in the enemy jungle. 20 minutes is a scary thing. 11-7 here as the gold's starting to even out. Waterloo is really starting to miss a beat here after controlling the early part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good start for Waterloo, but they're kind of coming off the hinges now as people kind of make their own little solo journeys into enemy territory. Don't know if the vision is set up properly and getting picked off. These mistakes and deaths are coming so fast that even the observers aren't quite ready for them. Keep getting baited, trying to show what just happened before.
So much fight, not enough replay time. 21-02, 11-7, as I said. It's not huge for kills. I think they have a good focus on turrets and objectives as well. Instead of trying to get each other down, push the wave and not get anything out of it because there's too much time wasted. So we're definitely seeing kind of advantages being made here by both teams. It's who can really strike the big advantage. Who's going to be the one to open up the first inhibitor. Sherb on the outside doing a great job of being a front line, but he's got to be careful. Being a front line means you either have Event Horizon or lock up from the Rakan. And there's the Event Horizon. Nobody's really going to be able to do too much from it. Sherb decides not to throw the anchor just off of the Event Horizon. Going down, in goes Timmy Tommy. They've missed quite a bit, but they still want the initiation. Damage is still coming through. They are cooking on the equalizer right now, however, but it's nothing that Waterloo can turn on. Their eyes are focused over onto a resurrecting jungler now as Project One comes back up. Safety from the Event Horizon. And it looks like Captain Shrimps and the team just gets tossed around during the fight. They have picked up Bosch, but they are getting pushed in the bot lane by Topopotamus while this is happening.
Is well done by University of Illinois to kind of force Waterloo onto the back foot, put them in retreat mode. Most of their champions do not want to be in that position. They want to be going in. But then they kind of lost track of their opponents. You're going to see here, after the initial good engage by Timmy Tommy, he's going to go in and kind of force one flash and then find another target. So he gets that and then can redirect onto Lyo. That's all great. But then during this time, kites too far forward on the Xayah and drops his ult, kind of loses track of Platoon. It takes a 1v1. Even at this point in the game, there's no way Xayah is going to beat up a Lucian there. So does kind of trade back a kill, unfortunately. But all things considered, still fine for Illinois. You're looking at about a 1,000 gold deficit when 10 minutes ago it was already up to a 2K deficit. So the fact that they've cut into it a little bit as a later game team bodes well for them.
Look across the items finished. Zanya's top. Got that twin shadows now for Zeno. He becomes very annoying with the Glacial Augment. And you've seen the disengage they have. Now they have a chance to re-engage these fights even easier as Dragon is picked up. That's number 2 for Ocean, side of Illinois.
They got a little scared there for a second. You saw them peel off it and let Vladimir finish it because they did not have good enough vision on the Baron, but no harm done.
I like this pressure. Waterloo still needs to be doing things, and they are not shying away from moving up on the map. It's what they need to do. Even the pink wards are being moved forward with the ability to secure that pink ward for a period of time. And not just giving up gold left and right. A whole team of University of Illinois required to guard mid as the bot lane is now Shauner versus Topopotamus. That Kennen and Vladimir matchup. We did see Shauner doing very well in the beginning. Still has the CS lead that you've seen throughout the time, 203 to 174. Topopotamus definitely able to be that late game Vlad now and have huge impact in the fight.
We'll have to see if he's able to find some big flanks. Both top laners are going to be looking for the flank.
Easier said than done.
Very much so. And the thing is as well for University of Illinois, they have a fair amount more defensive abilities that they can drop. The fact that Xayah can hop into the air. They have more shields and heals with the Rakan.
It's self kind of sufficient utility.
Right. It's the kind of thing where Illinois will probably get to a point where they'll be able to survive that all-in by Waterloo. But not a card like this.
Whoa, Project One, that's what happens. You want to clear the ward. It's only vision, but it cost you a huge member of your team, especially 24 minutes in when that Baron is up. Don't think it's still a fight they can take, but attempt they may be able to make on that Baron and pull University of Illinois into an erroneous fight here. 12-9, we see Captain Shrimps coming off the side. Don't really have an equalizer they can throw down between these two turrets. They have a bit of deja vu sitting in right now in that last gank. And looks like they're just going to use the equalizer to push them off and take the first one this time.
I do like that. I was wondering if they were going to try and convert it into a Baron attempt, but they did use a number of cooldowns to just kill Project One.
Gets a little scary.
Yeah, you kind of already blew too many resources to really want to take a 5v4 with a Baron pelting you as well. So I like the decision to just drop the equalizer, force them off the turret, finally break that mid lane turret, and that will set up future Baron attempts much better now that you can force them further into their own territory. That's exactly what they needed to do to give them more room to work with the Nocturne ultimates.
Good vision being set up. They have time to wander around the map, get some lanes pushed up, make sure they have enough priority on this Baron. Looking at our mid laners, we said it would be explosive. They've actually been kept back into a timid position here with how much fighting, but how much they have been actually targeted in these fights. They're trying to keep themselves away. Event Horizon, maybe some dark matters to the long-range equalizer of Shrimps. We haven't really seen him getting in there nitty-gritty with the Flame Spitter.
Yeah, it does feel like just maybe due to the nature of the champions we were talking about, both supports actually have the highest kill participation in bot lanes, where they're the ones with the engage tools, so they're the ones who get to start these fights.
Oh, there's one. Goes in, blocks out all sight. The sun is darkened here for a moment by Lyo, and it looks like it's going to be a nice calling on the right side, tickling a little bit there at the top of Topopotamus. The initiation comes in, however. Great job by Timmy Tommy to get to his support.
and make sure his team is alive. In goes Project One. They're going to be able to drop down Captain Shrimp, and it is just not looking good for Waterloo here. Great damage coming in from Platoon, however, though, and he's able to pick up the side of the fight, as it did not look like Illinois was able to organize themselves after getting flanked on the side by Platoon.
It was a really good job of Waterloo to kind of back off, but not back off in a straight line backwards. The fact that Platoon kind of went to the side, so that way you could find a flank onto the other members, and then had a great re-engage after Timmy Tommy came up short, and now they're going to be able to grab the Baron buff. Platoon does get hit pretty low, though.
Gotta be careful, he is low. This is that play we were talking about. Topopotamus could possibly make the double kill in. He uses the belt. There's the triple kill. Obviously gonna be able to take down a Nautilus if they stay to fight, and the Quadra's in his eyes, but it walks away slowly, and he's okay with that.
Huge play by Topopotamus, probably saving his team in this game. If that Baron buff went down, Waterloo was probably gonna win this game, but he makes the monstrous play to keep his team alive, and now, unsure if he wants to go for it himself. With everyone dead, he might have time.
Let's see it again. We're going to start from this play where Topopotamus wasn't fully in to make that just yet. This is the initial start to that play. Baron's on your left at live.
You see here, they're all kind of funneling through this narrow choke point. They're flanked from all these different positions, and even though Waterloo doesn't find a single target that they blow up instantly, they chunk a number of members low, and they split off to the side. So eventually, Shauner finds a nice engage, drops a lot of damage down, and Platoon also on the side finds a nice flank that they're able to pick up a number of kills. It was just after this point, at the Baron buff, they could not actually finish it off. Seems like that's true for Illinois as well.
Another cat and mouse game, as you saw down in the pip, and it is not going to be a Baron just yet. 13-16 is the kills mount here in our first game. As we approach 30 minutes, it started up once again. Rinse and repeat here by Waterloo, and the Baron dance is on. Let's see who's going to have the upper hand. They get pulled off. Looks like they do have a slight minion wave mid. Nothing really they can push towards the second tier. Bot lane's pushing. Maybe they work off that pressure as well, thinking Topopotamus won't be there just yet, but he is right and ready behind his team to get that fight. Ocean Drake, they say, can't be 3. If they have 3, Illinois basically wins everything. They walk away from the fight for 2 seconds. This is a great pickup here for Waterloo.
Yeah, really nice job to equalize the Elemental Drakes, and you just see the Lucian Platoon having a great game. He's up items on the Xayah, so he's able to keep pumping out damage. He's done an excellent job of, as Illinois engages multiple times, he actually, instead of retreating, goes around to the side. So he was able to find kills on the Bosch in the mid lane fight. There, once again, finds kills on the enemy backline because they get so tunneled on following up on the Rakan, they lose track of the Lucian.
An unwavering mentality there. He had a bit of a rough start in the early laning phase, got himself into a kill position where he went down. Now he's doing all right.
I mean, that play style is going to lead to more deaths. It's no surprise that he actually has the most deaths on his team, despite the fact that he's probably playing the best. It's just a very aggressive mindset of when the enemy is engaging, instead of saying, retreat, you say, how can I find a flank?
I always say trades are bad, but I remember back in CS, it would be like, if you go 2 for 1 when the site's being taken, you've done your job. So that's what he's going for. If he can kill 2 and then go down, he's cool with it. He's just going for the double. 16-13 still as we're waiting for that next kill, and they have been all-out brawls. They may not include the top laners, though. Teleports are basically the same, so we'll see them coming in at the same time if they do. Still on CD at this point. UI back to that Baron dance, and it looks like it's going to be a bit of this back and forth without too much control on that top wave, and mid wave being pushed right into each other every time. It's going to be a lot of this Baron until somebody goes down. An advantage to take it.
Yeah, it's very scary. It does feel like Illinois has a couple better tools for these kinds of Baron dances. The cage from the FLICKR primarily being the difference between the two. Both supports can engage, but you have a low commitment engage tool with that cage, as we see Shauner in some trouble.
Oh, that feels good. That could be the fight they want. The teleport could come in. They're giving him the ping at the turret, but there was a bit of damage done. Timmy Tommy looks like he's trying to go to the outside here and get that initiation, but he just can't buck off that siege minion. It kept hitting him off to the right. Looks like he was riding it like a rodeo. 2 Drakes to 2 as we saw it, just picked up by Waterloo, and they're going to keep that pressure onto this mid turret for now. Good vision on the left to keep those shoulder wards in the event horizon, as they might have gotten too close. Lio goes down. He is coming up with the resurrection. Sherb tries to protect him, throws out the depth charge. Beautifully done, and they pick up the kill on Timmy Tommy as they bait him in, hook, line, and sinker. How does Waterloo proceed here? They have Shauner back down in the bot lane, full health.
A lot of ultimates down, going to be hard to force again. That was finally a good combination between the Rumble Equalizer and some form of CC. They had the depth charge go out and kind of knock up multiple members on top of the Equalizer. That's how they finished off Timmy Tommy so easily. Now the question is, what else can they get from it? They do have an Ocean Drake to kind of keep them topped off. You see all their HP bars getting back close to full. But does not seem confident enough, like we said.
Oh, that's annoying. This is the part where it gets pretty scary. There's a lot of options for Illinois to get themselves out of danger. One of them's flash still, but that's the 5-minute cooldown. Doesn't feel as good to use. A nice play there by Sherb, knowing plays need to be made right now. And that was a time for one.
Definitely willing to trade your support flash for the enemy mid laner flash, so good job by Sherb to force that one out. Next time that Lyo or himself goes in, you know that Vigar is going to be stuck in there. And I gotta say, I'm a little surprised to see so much utility coming out of the Vigar build. The fact that he didn't just stop at a single item to make use of the Glacial Augment, actually goes for both the Super Soaker and the Spooky Ghost. And then to combo it off with a Banshee's Veil as well is so defensively minded that you're seeing when he does land a QW combination, you would think that it would do more damage. He's hit it multiple times onto the enemy tank support, and it doesn't do more than a couple hundred damage. And that's not quite enough out of him. You would have rather have seen some kind of pen, maybe a death cap to really utilize your scaling. He's so far off the big ticket damage items, as well as in terms of inventory space, not having that many choices. I'm a little concerned about this Vigar not becoming that ultra late game scaling monster that we thought he would become.
Relying a little too much on the build's AP you get throughout the game. It's not doing the impact you want to have. Let's see if Xeno can position himself. Becomes kind of that Ash bot. He throws out a bunch of stuns. He'll have the utility. Let's see if he can whittle away his opponent. Sherb looking pretty tanky now. Locked up the Iron Solari. Looks like he's going for that Knight's Vow next. Get himself nice and tanky with a bit of cooldown to throw even more hooks. Shrimp now into the Morello and his Leandris. He's going to be cooking people down, denying a bit of that HP. Oh, nice root. Is Lyo's Guardian up? I can't see it. I think it's actually down right now. Hemo Plate goes down. No follow-up damage, though. His top Hippopotamus comes in from the backside. Denial of vision here from Lyo as the fight goes in. A few low members on the side of Illinois. Looks like Waterloo's cleaning up in front of the turret. Again, they rinse and repeat this same fight, and it looks like they found their targets, but then they again get stuck in chaos. Can't find the next one, and Illinois strikes back again.
Yeah. Waterloo having a tough time with target prioritization.
Yeah.
Multiple members being focused down. Top Hippopotamus initially, but he's a Vladimir and he's able to top himself up because they didn't finish him off.
Ooh, that's big damage.
We'll see if they can convert this into the Infernal Drake, which is up right now. Project 1 is very low. They don't have their jungler. Lyo actually just showing up now.
Gets a good ward out. Cleared by Vision. Platoon always off on this right side. This actually could cost them the fight. Platoon gets pushed out. Project 1 coming from a great spot on the flank. And they lose their AD carry. Shrimps is going to be next as they get the dives in. Dragon is in their eyes, but they're going to give a bit of chase. The turret being gone from Top Hippopotamus's work earlier lets them get that kill. A great job, and Illinois walks in to take this Drake.
40-second death timers, though. They might not need to stop at the Drake. They can potentially look at the Marin right after this. You saw already having Lyo push out the mid lane, try and get some vision control right now in case that is indeed where they look. You see them sprinting right across that mid lane, so probably going to have to see a Baron dance in just a second. But first, you just see, like you said, Platoon, the Lucian, always looking for the flank. Looked a little too hard for it this time. Gets forced completely around the backside. It's just a 5v4 at this point. Tenon also was respawning.
I blame him and I don't. His 2 shots against Project 1 are basically where his health was at when we just saw him, so another 2 shots and you kill the guy. But yeah, that positioning meant your team goes down. The quickness comes out. Baron goes down as it's picked up by Illinois. 35.5 minutes into the game. It was quite a battle, but they come out on top for that first big objective.
Really difficult to finally get the first Baron. 35 minutes into the game, much later than normal. But they did finally secure it. And with that, Illinois, like we said, the later game comp, gold is even. You have the Baron buff, you have the Elemental Drake advantage. You have to think they're feeling pretty good.
A lot of options here. A good push by Top Hippopotamus has kept Shauner out of these fights with a big slicing Maelstrom. There's still a lot of things we haven't seen in the full combination from a Waterloo engage. It seems like Illinois is able to kind of get piecemeal engages and work off of that, never having to receive the full brunt of that damage.
Right, and now you finally see the fact that they have the Void Staff completed on the Vigar as well, so expect to see a lot more damage. He actually picked that up right before the Dragon fight, which is probably why you saw targets get deleted so quickly. I mean, probably Waterloo was even surprised at that as well.
How big is he now? An extra 336 ability power. Feels pretty nice. Stacking it up. They have the minion wave in mid lane. Looking at the wave clear here, it's really up to Platoon. Shauner's not going to be doing much. Lyle can throw a Dustbringer out, but it is going to be tough for these Baron minions to get wiped away from the front base of Waterloo. That turret's down to about 10%, or I'd say 30% HP. They'll be able to take it out with one more wave if Waterloo does not engage here. It looks like they're actually giving Waterloo the respect.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, Illinois recognizes that that cannon flank that you were talking about earlier is the primary thing they have to be worried about. So they have good flank wards on both sides of this lane, and they're grouped up as 5, so they don't have to worry about that potentially coming in. And with the zone control from the FLICKR ult,
a nice event horizon, and yeah, good by Shauner. He didn't even get the blink on that one. Without his flash up, he goes down. And now it's a bit of damage going to Illinois, but they're able to trade back, I believe, just how they want. Topopotamus comes back up healthy because of the ultimate. It looks like Illinois could be going down, though. A nice hit. Now a Resurrection coming up onto Lyo as he looks to get himself back into the fight. Will he be able to help? Platoon going hard forward. Lightslinger just misses, but he's able to finish off on 1, 2, 3 kills now. And it's possibly a 4th with Timmy Tommy hops over the wall. And it is going to be Waterloo able to hold the base and their inhibitor after losing that inhibitor turret.
Platoon keeping Waterloo alive by himself, jumps up to 10 kills on the tail end of that fight. He is the most important member on their team, and he is the one person who is not focused down that entire fight. You see the Kennen taking all of those ultimates down, but they did get a lot of damage traded back, and then watch Platoon this whole time, relatively unfocused. Topopotamus was the only one who was looking to try and finish him off, but a good distraction by Lyo splits that fight. He gets 1 kill on the backside, and after this point, there's not that many cooldowns up to deal with Platoon. Topopotamus is too low to really zone the way he wants to, so Platoon's able to dash right onto the FLICKR and start picking up a couple more kills.
Just looking at the items, Moth here for Platoon, definitely keeping him alive.
Thinking emoji, that wasn't quite right.
Oops. Platoon knows that Xeno's going to be hitting him with some big damage, so he gets that Maw Malmortius. Also has the Quicksilver Sash now to make sure Event Horizon is not his death. And you can see his ratings throughout the game here. 27,000 damage so far. Looking to crest 30 in just a few. Most kills on the map. He's missed just about 3 of the plays, as he has 8 or 15 in that participation.
I mean, the sad thing is for Platoon is that he's not going to be able to get any stronger. At this point, he's done such a good job in this game. 40 minutes in, he is capped out on items.
You can buy a potion.
Yeah.
Wrath.
I guess you can buy a couple consumables.
Get anger.
But up until this point, you know, he has been the primary focus of his team, and he's been the reason that they've been able to win a number of these fights. And it's unfortunate that he can't keep leveling up and getting stronger from here. He's level 18, he's a Lucian, he's got his items, and so from this point onwards, this is as strong as he'll be.
They might be able to just delete Sherb here. They go in, Redemption comes down. How big of a heal can it be? It gives him a little bit, but doesn't top off. Illinois enough. This is the engage that Platoon and Waterloo have been looking for. He gets Bosch out of the fight, and he takes down 1 as well. That's going to be Project 1 coming back up and falling right back down. No, he goes into the ultimate. He goes under, and he stays alive. What a fight coming in from Illinois and Project 1 to deny the kill Waterloo was looking for.
Illinois just barely able to stay alive. Multiple members dropping low, but Topopotamus, the bait champion with the Vladimir, able to just barely stay alive.
Absolutely crazy. So many ways for Illinois to get themselves out of a situation or make you have to think a few more seconds about what your coordination of the fight is. It gave them enough control. It caused enough chaos for Waterloo to not know what to do. And game 1 of this best-of-3 series is going to Illinois.
Second time here for Illinois, able to pick up their first win. They were quarterfinal victors last year, and they're off to the races right now to hope find their second time in the semifinals.
It's got to feel good. We saw the counter pick coming out here was strong for Xeno in that Veigar. We had a little bit more quiet of a mid lane, but we still have another few games to go to see that be explosive. And a bot lane, before it got any jungle pressure, I think really started to take off here for the side of University of Illinois after they kind of got out of that laning phase.
Yeah, I think Illinois took a later game comp. They did a good job scrapping early on.
Yeah.
And they Felt like they should have won a number of those fights a little bit harder, but Platoon had done a good job keeping them in them for the side of Waterloo. But at the end of the day, Illinois had been playing better over the course of the game. Multiple members stepping up, not just relying on one carry. You know, they have 4 different people with 6 or more kills on their team. So that means everyone was doing their job and getting a lot of kills.
That does become a very big point. It's kind of, you have the 10 kills on Lucian. Everybody else does damage on the team, but that's the thing, is you want Rumble to do damage. That's not utility setup. Kennen needs to do damage, and he had a huge lane as well. Shauner was doing fantastic up there. Eventually caught up by Topopotamus in the side lane plays, but there was so much going on in this game between those fights. The dragon pressure that these teams were giving, or sorry, Baron pressure they were giving respect on, showed that, well, Timid, we were viewing who are kind of the playmakers that wanted to go in all the time.
Yeah, and I like to see that the teams took a moment to reset. There was that initial Baron dance where one team went for it, the next team went for it, and almost Waterloo went for it again before, like, all right, let's stop doing that. There's a Drake we can get, so.
There's more to do.
There is more to do.
All right, for more on that victory, we're going to send it down to the State Farm analyst desk.
All right, thank you very much, Riv. What an explosive game one here between UI and UW. Guys, fantastic stuff here by both teams, and I think it starts with the very specific team compositions that both teams wanted to play.
Yeah, absolutely. So right away in the first phase of bans, we see pretty much all the powerful flex picks taken off the table with the Ryze, Irelia, Silas, Aatrox, Sakali. All these champs are gone, as well as the Yuumi. So Waterloo decides that Nautilus is their best option there, and they pick that. It seems that Illinois thought the answer was going to be Zyra Khan to the Nautilus lane, but I think the Lucian actually kind of tilted the matchup in Waterloo's favor, and we saw them actually falling behind by about 20 CS in the early game. And the Rumble as well, the fact that you can flex Rumble in mid and top lane makes this such a powerful pick. It's getting priority in almost every matchup, regardless of the lane, and they use this early pressure very well.
So I think the Nautilus is pretty good as a champion right now, but I really like what UI did against it. So Zaya's ultimate, we saw, can disengage from the Nautilus ultimate, so you no longer get carpet bombed by Rumble. And the Vladimir is also a great answer. You can pull out of it. Even Rek'Sai can use her ultimate to disengage from Nautilus. So they picked a lot of champions that can get out of the engage tools that Nautilus brings, and that makes it so much harder for the engage to happen when you don't really know if it's going to stick. So a lot of fights happen where you're committing, you're thinking, we got him. Turns out they disengage, and now you're stuck in the middle of it, and you have to fight even though it's not on your own terms.
Yeah, and one of those fights was the early team fight here, initiated at first by Waterloo and then followed up by U of I here at the Dragon 3 for 2.
Yeah, this started with a little dragon, but the Nocturne gets eliminated right away, and now UI is turning, knowing that Zaya is in the back, and the zoning cannon ultimate, while it doesn't do a whole lot, it really just gets everybody in a nice little conga line, chasing them down with the dragon being aggroed on. This was just early game scraps. You know that Rumble hits level 6. He was ready to use the ultimate. That was the first Nocturne ultimate of the game as well, so they were just wanting to get a fight, whatever it took.
Yeah, and Waterloo, again, first time here on stage. But you've got to touch on the guys from Illinois in the bottom lane. Timmy, Tommy, and the Bosch, also their first time. And after that team fight, it's like, hey, look, Zyra Khan looking good. It looks like those nerves were not going to be an issue, but that wasn't necessarily the case. Platoon, AD carry for Waterloo. Fantastic job on the Lucian, and that led to some big team fights in the mid-game.
Yeah, he was carrying those fights really hard. I think typically we don't see Lucian as a scaling champion, but look at here. The damage he's doing with his culling isn't as high as it would be with Cleaver, but this is a beautiful ulti here coming in, and as long as they just back off right now and keep controlling space, this fight is going to be so good for them. They're taking everything on top side, they're moving their top wave, they're moving mid wave. The problem here for Waterloo is that they overcommitted between these turrets, and on the back end of this, Illinois has this really nice opportunity to, again, just take mid wave, take top wave, and actually start moving into the top side and taking some control back. And this chase here, yeah, fine. You know, you're gonna get this extra kill on the Nautilus, but what about your mid wave, right? Yeah. Regardless of that fact, really nice comeback play here. And again,
this is huge. This was a huge play here by Platoon, the young man there for University of Waterloo at the AD carry role.
Well, look at what he does. The second he gets hit by Hemoplague, disengages, makes sure that nobody else on him, but he lingers just close enough that he can make a move like this. Flashing in, crit, the passive is up, and from that play, Waterloo decides, let's go for a Baron, but unfortunately, 4 people is just not enough to go up against the likes of Veigar and Vladimir. So they don't have full sight, but the cage is going to be able to provide vision, and now that the ward is there, they're thinking, yeah, we can come in, and wow, you pop the Veigar. This looks amazing. There's still a Vladimir. Everyone's half HP, and you just were not expecting that he had flash and that he was going to make such a you know, so I don't want to say it, but a very manly move out of
Yeah, what a play. What a play. I think almost any other champion there, that Baron might work out. But the fact that they have Vladimir to come in and clean that up really tilted things for sure.
Yeah, Topopotamus topping himself off there at that Baron fight, able to pick up a triple and get the Vladimir. Thank you. It's like I've done this before, right? Vladimir get going, and it was, we thought, okay, now scaling composition here with Illinois, everything's going to go right. But Waterloo, consistently fighting themselves back. And we thought it was going to be a mid-lane matchup between Shrimp and Zeno, but it turned out Platoon put his name right into the hat and did a fantastic job. Consistently, we saw that replay, getting in the right position. And here's the final fight, though, where everything kind of fell apart here for Waterloo.
And watch this. We have the initial engage from Rakan that's coupled with the Nocturnal re-engage. And as Kennen flashes in here, he's creating so much chaos, buying so much time. And the Lucian here is largely untouched, doing massive DPS. Also, the build choice going crit allows him to almost clean up this fight, but such a nice Rek'Sai ult there, going invulnerable, taking the last kill, and ultimately winning the game.
Yeah, I'm sure you've been in that position, Crumbs, where you're just spamming R, get to the back line.
Absolutely. Rek'Sai's so broken right now. The fact that your E does true damage, and he went with a very different build, not having the Black Cleaver, going with more tankiness. And look at that. It looks like a song was written in the gold differences.
Yeah.
Up and down. But that just shows us that this game is going to be all about brawling, and a lot of it will come down to the scaling utility that the teams can provide. So Veigar Cage, super important. Vladimir Pool being able to disengage. So all of these tools add up to fights in the late game that can be decided on one ability, and I think that's what we're going to see.
Coach, last point here. You're Waterloo. You get the nerves out of the stage. You guys play fantastic. What are you saying to the team?
The most important thing for Waterloo is to keep your composure, right? Poise is going to be so important for them in these moments. It's understandably, nerve-wracking being down 1-0 because now you have to go 2 games. But you win 2 games in a row all the time, right? Think back to scrims, think back to your regular season. You've been here before, you've done this before, maybe with a slightly less big audience, but they'll be fine as long as they keep their composure.
Crumbs, I don't know about you, but I'm fired up and ready to get things going. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll be having game 2 between Illinois and Waterloo. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the League of Legends College Championship.
Now low for Sherv, and he may go down another 1-for-1 as the teams trade. And the Dragon is just going to be real angry during this one. Not looking good for Bosch as he goes down. Lyle coming up big, and Sherv's going to help finish that one off on a Timmy Tom. Illinois not looking good in the first initiation of this one, but it's very low health bars here for Waterloo as they get stuck between 2 turrets.
Yeah, I think you can win this.
Flash E.
Oh, QM. Oh my God! Topopotamus.
Go! Coming back up and falling right back down. No, he goes into the ultimate. He goes